call of the Hawks can be heard all the way to San Francisco.
You're listening to Pod at the Palace with Curtis Wilkerson on Inside Arkansas.
Welcome into the Pod at the Palace post-game show presented by SARACEN, Arkansas's #1 sports betting app. Curtis Wilkerson and Andrew Ellis here with you tonight following Arkansas's 99-84 win over Texas A&M at Bud Walton Arena in Fayetteville. That was like a full spectrum experience in this game. Arkansas saw a 17-point lead shrink down to 3. They built it all the way back up, and they wound up putting belt-to-ass to buckyball in this one. Really impressive stuff from the Razorbacks, in my opinion. They looked like they were maybe running out of gas a little bit there, and then they proceeded to make 13 shots down the stretch in a row to pull away in this basketball game. It was kind of Billy and the Bigs doing the heavy lifting early. Acuff and Leak got it going late. Very, very good win for Arkansas. They improved to 21-7 on the season, 11-4 in SEC play within 2 games still of the Florida Gators heading into Saturday's matchup. Andrew, how pleased are you with the Pig tonight?
It's hard to be more pleased, honestly. It wasn't a perfect performance by any means, but I was very worried about, what kind of version of the Razorbacks we might see. We know they're playing with this short rotation, and it ended up being really a 6-man rotation for the most part tonight, and against a team that plays the way that A&M plays. You didn't know if that was going to be a great recipe, but Arkansas does play well when they're playing at a fast pace, and that proved to be the case even during this game in the second half. The funniest part was you tweeted with about 10 minutes left, you're like, Arkansas might be running out of gas here, and then they just rattle off 12 straight buckets. And
unreal.
And so you just put your hands up, and you're like, okay, fine. They always kind of found that extra gear anytime you thought they were kind of in trouble. I mean, right off the bat, A&M gets up 11-2. They answer with a 12-0 run. You kind of have that weird stretch in the first half. You come out firing in the second half, build that cushion right back up. They cut it right back down to 4. You fire back and get it right back up to 15. And I felt like Arkansas answered the bell every time. Their guards were, missing shots left and right during the first half, but then down the stretch, here comes Darius Acuff, ends up with 22 points. And I thought it's a really good team performance for Arkansas. All 6 guys. Malik Euan, I know we're going to talk about everyone in a second. Malik Euan, I feel like, was maybe not the MVP of this game, but I feel like a huge catalyst in Arkansas kind of pulling ahead and taking control of this one. I thought that was a really solid showing against a team that's pesky and hard to play against.
Yeah, it was weird early in that game because Arkansas had firm control. They wind up going into halftime up by 9, and you kind of alluded to it. Your guards, so Darius Acuff, Malik Thomas, and DJ Wagner were a combined 2 of 20 from the field. And but at the same time, it's buckyball. They try to turn you over and cause a bunch of havoc. Arkansas's ball security was awesome. I think they drew 13 first half turnovers that Arkansas forced out of Texas A&M. So it was the defense that really, really stepped up, held A&M to 28 points in the first half. That was some of the best defensive stuff that we've seen from Arkansas all season. And then the second half kind of looked like the game you expected it to. Arkansas outscored Texas A&M in the second half, 62-56. That is absurd, but that's more in line with kind of what you were thinking with the way that these two teams played. But Billy Richmond early in the game was incredible. I thought that he kind of kept Arkansas afloat as they were trying to figure some stuff out there. And then it was Euan and TB, offensive rebounds, scoring in there. And then when it was business time, when it was winning time, you give Acuff a few minutes. He looked awful from a shooting perspective. He was rebounding, assists, playing actually good defense. Couldn't get anything to fall. They give him a few minutes. He comes in there, cranks it up, and Arkansas pulls away. Nice job, man, by the Razorbacks. Everybody kind of had their moments, maybe except for Nick Pringle, who, barely played in this one. But, hey.
Yeah, Arkansas finishes with 9 turnovers in this game. I would venture to guess that about 6 or 7 of them happened from the final 2 minutes of the first half to like the first 5 or 6 minutes of the second half. They just had a weird random case. And then really, I guess it was like the first 10 minutes. You had the one where Billy throws it off the backboard trying to inbound it. And that's about when you started tweeting the fatigue thing, because that's where you're just like, oh, y'all are just doing stupid stuff because you're tired. And what's that going to look like down the stretch? But when they needed to, they really took great care of the basketball. And it just continues to be a formula with the way that Arkansas shoots inside of the arc specifically. We've seen them shoot it well at times, but they've been able to let that three-point shooting fluctuate because they are consistently getting to the rim, consistently getting out in transition, consistently getting 2-point field goals that are high percentage looks. And Malik Euan and Billy Richmond, I feel like, are the most consistent at doing that. And then, of course, Acuff down the stretch really made some nice buckets as well. But Arkansas's formula offensively is one that is just consistent at this point. They take this show on the road. They score no matter what the opponent is doing to them. And I think teams obviously don't have too much trouble scoring on Arkansas for the most part, especially A&M in the second half. But it just continues to be games that Arkansas is like, you know what, we're comfortable playing like this. We know you're going to make some shots, but we know we're going to be very efficient on our end. We're going to take good care of the ball. You're going to have to basically out-rebound us by 10 or just get us all in foul trouble. Like, that's your only path to victory.
Yeah. No, that's 100% right, man. And just finding ways. It's crazy because I'm thinking ahead to the report card. And I'm like, what am I going to grade tonight's offensive performance? Because it wasn't anywhere near their best, I don't think. And, the first half, they couldn't make a shot. But then you look up at the end of the game and see the numbers that they put together. And it was pretty good stuff there. They shot 36% in the first half, 69% in the second half in this game. And I thought they did a really good job of attacking A&M's pressure. When you're getting pressed like that, you just got to attack it. And sometimes you got to go off script and make some things happen. And you turned them into a bunch of hacks in there, and you wound up getting to the free throw line. That was huge for Arkansas. And that's been an area where there have been some games this year where Arkansas, you're like, dang, they barely got to the line. They were, 7 of 18 against LSU. What the heck? 29 of 33 from the free throw line in this basketball game. Everybody was stepping up there and knocking them down. Acuff was 7 of 9, TB 5 of 6, Billy 6 of 6, Euan 6 of 6. Like some guys there who have maybe missed some for you in the past stepped up there and cashed in when all is said and done. And then it's a Texas A&M team that is they're potent offensively. They can shoot a ton of threes. And hey, I'll take 8 of 25 from 3 out of Texas A&M 100 times out of 100. So overall, I just think this is a very solid win for Arkansas. It's one that's going to look really good for them on the resume too, because we keep talking about analytics and KenPom and projections and everything like that. Everything you saw out there had Arkansas projected to win this game between 5.5 and 8 points. They went out there and got it done by 15. So you'll see a decent little bump there when you wake up in the morning as it pertains to the metrics, if you're thinking about seeding and stuff like that.
Yeah, wins are wins, and you'll take them, even if Arkansas had won by 1, we would have been perfectly fine with that. But that was the impressive part to me, and I feel like Arkansas in this game kind of knew exactly how much they needed to give and had their finger on the pulse of when the game was starting to trend toward A&M and when they were starting to lose momentum. They always were able to have that composure and answer. And you mentioned the free throws, 20 of 23 in the second half. That was a huge part of why I think Arkansas didn't panic. Anytime A&M made that run, I think you texted me at one point and you were like, Arkansas, if they can just get the ball in, they'll shoot a ton of free throws. Like, they should be fine in this matchup. I think they kind of knew that as well. And so while A&M's kind of rushing to try and get the game back in their favor, Arkansas is just kind of chilling there. And they knew if they didn't if they didn't turn the ball over, they didn't give A&M a ton of second chance opportunities, they were going to have to basically play perfect. And what wound up happening is Arkansas was damn near perfect on the offensive end, able to get some easy looks and some runouts against that press. I thought they were very prepared for exactly what A&M brought to the table. And even when it looked like the game was slipping away at certain times, they knew exactly where they were, and they looked very comfortable. Those are the really encouraging signs that as we get more and more, into these high leverage games that are going to be tense and that are going to be, exhausting, seeing Arkansas be able to kind of manage the pace and manage their fatigue throughout the game, I thought was really impressive. And if you're going to end up playing with 7 guys consistently, which Arkansas is for a while, you're going to need to kind of have your finger on the pulse of just how tired you are and just how much you have left in the tank.
Yeah, no, that's 100% true. But I'm with you. I thought Arkansas did a great job of not allowing the game to get too chaotic, like the up and down, frenetic stuff. And when they did, they were surgical when they attacked that pressure, and they were getting lobs, getting layups, finishing in there, and then doing a good job of finding them in transition and stopping them at the point of attack for the most part. Yeah, there were a couple minutes here and there, like the 2.5 minutes at the end of the first half. You were up 15, you wanted to stretch it out, and then it's 9 at the break because you got a little bit sloppy there. When A&M was able to get back into the game, a lot of it was because you were showing a little bit of fatigue. You weren't getting the stops. It was allowing them to set up their press, and Arkansas had a few possessions where they struggled to get it in bounds. And, hey, that's hard to do every single possession over a 40-minute game. That's kind of Texas A&M's MO. I remember that game that they wound up winning controversially against Auburn on the road. They were down 16 in the second half in that game. You blinked. It was like 60 seconds, and they had the lead because they were turning them over, boom, three, turn them over, boom, three. It was one after another after another. It got tight there for Arkansas. I think it got down to 3 points, and then they just said, hey, all right, everybody relax, take a deep breath, and remember that you're just better than they are, and let's go out here and do that the rest of the game. And that's when they went on their run where they didn't miss a shot for like the next 12 minutes or something.
Yeah, and then you look up, and Arkansas still 4 of 17 from 3 in this game. Like, I think that has to give you a lot of confidence if you're Arkansas, kind of knowing that, hey, game to game, the things that we're doing, you can do that every night. You know, you have a game where you hit 12 threes. It's like, damn, all right, are we really about to go do that in Gainesville? We better, or else we're going to be in trouble. I think it's got to be so encouraging for Arkansas to have a night where you didn't really have your best stuff necessarily. Your star player started off 1 for 12. You know what I mean? Most games, we would think that that would spell automatic disaster for Arkansas. And we've even wondered, is Arkansas maybe too dependent on these freshman players? Are they too dependent on Darius Acuff? I think for the locker room morale, this has to be a very encouraging performance. I also want to bring it back to Malik Euan because we've always talked about the numbers with him always look like Arkansas is just a way better team offensively and defensively when he's on the floor. And that's been even with him kind of not playing well. And so you're like, man, if all the metrics say that Arkansas is better with him on the floor, even when he's kind of inconsistent, imagine what those metrics will look like if you're getting a consistent version with Malik Euan. I think when he's on the floor, Arkansas just gets easy looks on the offensive end. That's where Billy Richmond's really able to be cutting, really able to get those backdoor cuts to get those easy looks. Acuff's job is easier. He's able to find you, and they have such a really good chemistry. I think that was kind of the story in the second half was how easy the game looked for everyone on the floor. I think Malik Euan is kind of an underrated aspect of that.
Yeah, he was really, really good. You knew right away when he came in, and I get it because I had a bunch of people tweeting me. I tweeted out the starting lineup, and I usually do that every game. I had stopped doing it because it was so consistent, but a lot of people have been asking the question, like, will Euan start over Pringle now that he asked him to or whatever? And so I put it out there, and then immediately when it's 11-2 or whatever, people were like, oh, maybe he should have made a change to the starting lineup. And then they go on a 12-0 run as soon as Euan comes in, and everybody's tweeting. And I'm like, I just liked some of them. You know, like I don't want to put them on blast like that, but the moral of the story here is great job from Malik Euan. That's the type of stuff that you were hoping you would get from him all year. He stacked 2 good games together here. They need him to be at his best against Florida. And you only got 6 minutes out of Nick Pringle. So you might look at it and say, well, damn, you know, these guys are going to be even more out of gas. They basically played 6 tonight when they go to Florida, where you're going to need every minute you can get from Nick Pringle in that basketball game until he fouls out. It might be like 7, but you're going to have to get them against Florida because they are huge. A much, much, much different type of basketball game that you'll see on Saturday as opposed to what you saw today.
100%. And these guys know that. It's not like a secret. Sure. You know what I mean? They fully understand. And Nick Pringle, he probably knows, hey, I'm not going to be able to just kind of drift and not be a guy and only play 6 minutes against Florida. But that comes back to the same idea of like, you got to be prepared to face all these different teams. You know what I mean? Like you might face a team in the tournament that probably in that 5-12, 4-13 game, you're probably going to face a team that plays more similarly to A&M. So you kind of have to be prepared for those kinds of games. This game was awesome in that regard, but you're right. Saturday's game is going to have a completely different identity. You're going to need Nick Pringle a little bit more. I thought TB was also pretty good in this game. We'll see if Malik Euan's able to kind of find that same offensive versatility in a matchup against some really big dudes over there at Florida, man. They finished the game pretty impressively tonight over at Texas. I'm excited for that matchup to see how Arkansas's front court responds because I feel like TB and Euan, at least offensively, should also be able to pose some interesting issues for that Florida front court.
I think so too. Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for a pathway, and I'm sure we'll talk about it plenty over the next couple of days, but it's like your guards are going to have to hit threes. You know, they're going to have to knock down some shots. But with the front court, it's going to be a challenge keeping them off the glass and containing them and everything like that. You need Euan to be able to get Chinyelu into some foul trouble, and he's a guy who's capable of doing that. You need Trevin to pull one of those bigs out from the paint and be able to knock down some threes and force them to guard them because that's going to open up the driving lanes for guys like Billy and Darius and everything like that. Like that's your recipe. And don't turn the ball over because when they get out in transition, they're really, really hard to handle. They're actually pretty guardable in the half court. I thought Texas proved that tonight. It's just when you force a miss out of them, you got to get the defensive rebound where it's going to be a long night for you. So
You have to turn the gun on Florida and be like, hey,
You
you have
do.
to score 90. Like,
Yeah.
this is not going to be – we're not going to play this slugfest that's going to be elbow to elbow down in the paint. We're going to get out and run with us or you die.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That is actually a very, very accurate way to put it there. Hey, shout out to our sponsors over here for the Pod at the Palace post-game show throughout the course of this season. It's Fight House Gym. It's Northwest Arkansas's #1 boxing, MMA, and strength training gym. It's built for athletes, competitors, and anyone ready to push their limits. They had their grand opening, and it was like it was a star-studded event. Russell Brand, John Neighbors, all of the above, which, by the way, DJ Wagner blocked a shot today, and it might have landed in John Neighbors' lap, which was pretty impressive. Everybody saw him in there. He was rocking his DJ Wagner sleeveless, but maybe he's been at Fight House Gym. Y'all can let me know how the guns look there tonight. But check them out. It's a really cool deal. Whether you're a seasoned fighter, you're just starting your fitness journey, it's a local gym that meets you where you're at, and then they push you further. They're now open, 10131 Webb Way in Fayetteville, exit 58 off I-49. You can sign up today at fighthousegym.com or call them at 951-623-9745 and step inside and bring the fight. We were talking about Malik Euan, and I do just want to throw this out there. I felt like the game was decided, even if they made a run after this, but when he put Federico in the rim and just exercised all those demons from the Sweet 16, and I've had nightmares about him. Every time people hear his name, it's like Beetlejuice, but you only got to say Federico, and then he appears, and it's like a nightmare. They did a good job on him, but I was very, very pleased to see Malik Euan in traffic just kind of get pissed off and it's like, you know what, I'm going to go up here and dunk on this dude's head. He did that, and automatically I just felt like the weight of the world lifted off my shoulders, and I have officially let go of that game against Texas Tech now, and I'm ready to move on to March Madness. I needed that moment. I don't know if Razorback fans felt it, but it was good to see.
It was also a good moment just for Euan because you got to see him kind of make that decision to just, hey, quit finessing this thing. You gotta go with a little grit here. Like, just be a big man. You're 7 feet tall. Just dunk the basketball.
Yes.
Love seeing that. Are you disappointed with how often Malik Euan flexes after he makes buckets in the interior?
A little bit, yes.
It's a high percentage. I would say 7 out of 10 makes he's flexing.
It's every dunk that he gets. It's a thing that happens. I'll give him a pass because he got 9 rebounds today, and he had the one play. He had a couple of my favorite plays in this game. He had the one where he dunked on Federico, and then he had the other where he was sprinting down the floor and wound up kind of gathering a ball there. I think it was an Acuff miss, or he kind of lost control or whatever. He finishes the shot. He gets shoved into the cheerleaders, but he gets his butt up quick, turns around, apologizes to the cheerleader, and then sprinted back on defense as it was involved in the play. I'm thinking November Malik Euan ain't doing that. Like he's just stuck in the pile for like 3 possessions. But he actually got his butt up and went down there and made a play there. It was good to see.
Dude, how about the outlet pass to Malik Thomas where he just gets the rebound and then just floats it out there like a QB throwing a deep ball right there, and he led him perfectly. That was beautiful.
No, he looked good in there. Gosh, man, I'm seeing a lot of negativity in the chat. It's actually blowing me away a little bit. Some of this stuff that I'm seeing in here. Can't guard anyone. I had people yelling at me in my mentions about how this wasn't a good performance and not a great effort tonight. They just beat a tournament team by 15, man. I'm really impressed with what Arkansas wound up doing there. So y'all can take that stinking thinking somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, we thought the spread was a little bit too high. I had a buddy text me and he's like, "Hey, you think I should bet Arkansas tonight?" And I was like, "I don't know, man." I was like, "I think they're going to win," but I thought Arkansas was going to win and A&M would cover. I thought Arkansas was going to win by like 4 here. So the fact that they won fairly comfortably, yeah, it's going to be hard to piss me off tonight.
Yeah, for sure. And then I think you also got to understand context. Like when you're up 17 in the final few minutes of a game and you're only playing 6 or 7 players, and like Brazil 4 fouls, Euan 4 fouls, Billy, you're not going to take somebody's head off at the rim. You wall up, you get tall. If they make a shot over the top of you, so be it. You get the ball in bounds and you go down there and have your possession. But I think there's a time and place to be overly physical and everything in there. You don't want them getting a bunch of and ones. Would I like to see those guys be more aggressive at times in there? Yeah, sure. Of course. I would have rather Zach Clement's not gone for 29 in this basketball game, somebody had to score for him because you shut the water off on all their guards. You know what I mean? Like, that's just kind of the way that it works there. Had it have been Pop Isaacs going for 29, everybody would have been pissed at, Acuff or DJ or somebody else. So it's just kind of the way basketball works. Good teams are going to have guys who score. They needed somebody to have an out-of-body experience to only get beat by 15 in this basketball game.
I'm going to be very interested to see. You mentioned how Florida's a little bit more content to play a half-court game, and they're a lot more guardable. Like they're content to play a 71-65 game. Arkansas gives up 84 in a game that I thought they played pretty good defense, but the pace of Arkansas's style, just you kind of allow these buckets to happen. I wonder what that's going to look like against Florida. Like, is Arkansas really just going to play a half-court game there, and what's that even going to look like?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it depends on how many times you turn them over and you're able to get out and run on the break. I kind of have the feeling that for the most part, they're probably going to be content with playing a half-court game. I think Florida's a lot easier to defend in the half-court than they are. They're really good when they get out and run, which seems weird because they start three bigs, but they push it fast in transition. We know Boogie's a better player when he's out in the open floor. So I think limiting the turnovers, maybe shortening the game and getting it into the second half. I would like to see Arkansas be able to get the game into the second half and look fresh, as opposed to, at times you feel like they're just kind of clinging on, and it's like, man, can they find that second win because they're running out of gas? Hopefully you avoid that. Florida's not the deepest team in the world either. They're just heavy on you with all those bigs that they rotate through there.
Got to make shots too, which
obviously got to make shots.
Obvious thing,
sure.
But I mean, 3-point shooting, I think that's going to have to be a huge equalizer because, and Arkansas scores a ton of points in the paint, but it's like, Florida's going to kind of have their advantage on the interior. You've got to be stretching those guys out, forcing them to guard. TB's got to knock down a couple threes. I think Arkansas is going to have to shoot the ball well. They're going to want to win this game, but it's going to be interesting. I think everyone thinks Florida's like just a horrible mismatch that's going to blow them out, and I really don't see a path to Florida beating them by like 18. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to get beat like a drum. And they're very, very good, but they are not the Florida of last year. I mean, they labored against Texas tonight. It was on the road, and Texas is probably going to be a team that makes the tournament, but Auburn went in there and beat them earlier in the year. The Missouri team beat them earlier, and so they're playing better basketball right now than maybe they were at that point. So is Arkansas. Arkansas also just went on the road in a really tough, matchup situation against Alabama, and they showed really, really well. If Arkansas's guards play against Florida like they did against Alabama, if Acuff gives you 50, you're probably going to win that game. But you get what I'm saying. Like, Arkansas is going to have an advantage in the backcourt, at a disadvantage in the front court. Which one of those is going to win out? But I think these are two really, really good basketball teams, two teams that are going to be top 5 seeds in the NCAA tournament, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. Ain't no fear coming out of me for this basketball game. I'll leave that to everybody else.
Now that it's finally the next game up, I'm excited for it. And I've been saying for a while that I kind of have accepted it as a loss. And I'm going to go in Saturday kind of like, I'm not, if Arkansas loses by 6, I'll be I'd rather them win, but like I've already gone in kind of a win would be bonus cherry on top for me.
Sure.
So I'm going into Saturday just kind of like you said, excited to see how they match up, see how they respond. And, you just get better playing teams like this.
What do you think the line is going to be for this one?
Florida by 7.
I was going to say 6.5. So yeah, I think that's probably about right. I don't know. I can't wait for it. I'm looking forward to it. Now, hopefully the guys get rested up and everything before the game. But it is beneficial to Arkansas that Florida they were in a war tonight. They had to work harder than Arkansas did to win that game. I know the final score doesn't reflect it, but that was a dogfight that they had in Texas. They also had to travel. It always sucks when you play a Wednesday game and then, like if you're on the road or whatever, then you got to do double travel. A team has been at home all week. No, they had to travel, and then you were actually at home. So there's some things there that you can look at for Arkansas and feel decent about it, but we'll worry about that when we get there. Also, a shout out to OZK Insurance. You guys know the drill. It's an independent insurance agency that works for you, right? They're not tied to just one company. So they'll shop all the carriers. They'll find the best coverage. They'll find the best price, whatever you want, whatever you need. They'll customize it for you and get you taken care of. And they've got this new fancy, cool looking app that they're rolling out here in 2026 where you can see all your policies under one roof. you can pay your bills, get roadside assistance, file claims, whatever. They've got you covered. So if you're tired of being stuck with one carrier or chasing down paperwork, or I've got 3 different insurance coverages from 3 different places and I got to remember passwords and everything like that. No, they got you all covered in one spot at OZK Insurance. So go download the app at the App Store or Google Play. You can go to their website at ozkinsurance.com. It is it's a local agency with national level options. One powerful app. That's OZK Insurance. All right, let's get into the chat and see how everybody's doing in here. It's really, it's a vast majority positive, but I feel like every time I looked over there, somebody's like, they're going to get their ass kicked by Florida. How did Clements do this? TB soft. And I'm just like, dang, relax, man. This is a good win right here. We should be happy. Okay, Hairless Hog. Hairless Hog called the game. You know how sometimes John Rothstein will jump the gun with his, John Calipari, the last Corleone. Hairless Hog did that with 3 minutes left in this basketball game. Sent the super chat, got out of the way.
Oh, he sent this with 3 minutes left.
Yeah, 3 minutes left. I saw it pop up as we were sitting here talking as the game was wrapping up. Euan plays beautiful D on AG, battles his butt off for the rebound, then tosses a full court dime to Thomas for the layup.
Yeah.
Well, I was told he didn't play any defense at all tonight, but maybe every once in a while he made a stop. I do remember that play, though, because he just – AG dropped the shoulder into him, and Euan actually, walled up and took it. He absorbed it for a change instead of getting pushed under the rim. So it was good to see that play. And it was good stuff there. Nice work. Good to see Leak get it going too. He didn't look very good in the first half, man. He didn't have the excuse of having a bum foot either. He was like rushing some shots, some weird off balance looks. Wasn't great, but then the second half, I thought he was much, much better there.
Well, dude, you remember early in the year when like 75% of his attempts would be from 3?
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of wondered, we were like, hey, does he really have, that kind of bag? It seemed like he was trying to prove us wrong in this game, where he was like taking too many pull-up 2s that were like, and by the way, he makes a lot of those.
He does.
He makes shots at weird angles. He's one of those guys that just kind of has the confidence. If he can get a clean look at the rim, he's gonna let it fly. But yeah, he took a while to start taking 3s, which he's done in a few games here lately. I hope that once you get into March, he's really just automatic taking 6 spot up 3s. And man, the one he made today, he won't get a more open one than that. They kind of half-assedly closed out on him, and it's like, nah, bro, you can't do that. That's
you got to take that one personal. There's no way you can miss that shot. He didn't, so good on him. Might be Mike, and appreciate everybody for hanging out with us. I know it's late out there tonight. Might be Mike says, shout out to Wagner. He was really active tonight. Woo Pig Suey dub. I liked what we saw from Wags. He might have got a little bit overzealous there with some of the shot attempts in the first half, but no, I thought he played hard. I thought he was pretty damn good defensively. Matter of fact, let me look real quick because I felt like he was involved in quite a few really good defensive plays.
He
didn't get a steal, but I felt like he was was involved in a lot of stuff there defensively.
Acuff had like 3 or 4 steals today. He was very involved as well. But yeah, there were a lot of examples of guys forcing stupid passes that then led to steals. And I think DJ definitely did that. He also is at his best, and he was last year, just straight line drive, just be like, screw it, bull in a china shop. I'm going to the rim. And it doesn't matter. And he drew a few fouls in that context tonight. But in the second half, I thought he really was a huge part of Arkansas kind of getting the pace ramped back up.
Yeah, he was 3 of 4 around the rim and 0 of 3 from 3. He needs to start knocking down some more 3s there. We know he's not the best shooter in the world, but I mean, he's been 33% throughout his career, and he's really kind of struggled in SEC play. I hope now that he's playing more, he starts knocking some of those downs. Shoot the open ones, skip the off the dribble, step back nonsense. Yeah. He's got to take at least one of those a game, it feels like. But no, I thought he played well, had some good moments in there, and I thought the best lineup for Arkansas in a game like this, you got to have an extra ball handler on the floor. And I thought that wound up taking a lot of pressure off Acuff, and was probably a big part of the reason why Arkansas was able to get control of the game there. It's asking a lot for Acuff when he's not 100% to have to. I mean, he was getting bear hugged. There's dudes with hands. Texas A&M players had their hands in his shorts. That's very weird. It's awkward and it's uncomfortable, but they did. I saw it multiple times. Holding him, pushing him, shoving him. It's like, good Lord, over the course of the game, you need somebody to take that pressure off of you. And I thought DJ was obviously the best option. He did a good job with that.
There was even a moment where Acuff was like begging whoever was inbounding the ball, like, please, like pointing at DJ, like, please,
Yes.
I'm begging you, let him break this press. I've broken the last 7. Let him break this one. And which, yeah, you're 100% right. Even if it's small stuff like that, it gives Acuff a few minutes there to rest. And I love that.
Yeah, me too. And then, speaking of Acuff, and T Razorbacks here with the super chat, thank you, says, when you're off game is 22, 7, and 5 with 3 steals.
Well, dude, even the shooting, he ended up 7 for 19, and it was 7 for 18 at one point, which is, I mean, that's below 40%. Not great, but it's like he started 1 for 12, dog.
Yeah.
And he almost shot 40%, which is like what a lot of these SEC guards shoot for the season. Like Josh Hubbard is like one of the best players in the conference. He shoots like 42% from the floor every single night. And Acuff's worst game of his life, he shoots 37%.
Yeah.
Boogie Flan literally shooting 35% for the year.
Yes. Yeah, his worst is Boogie's best.
I mean,
Crazy.
literally. I mean, that sounds mean, but it's facts though.
It's
like,
only mildly overselling it there, but yeah, I feel so much better, Andrew, having seen the last 10 minutes of that basketball game from Acuff as opposed to the first 30 or whatever.
Yeah.
I was not feeling good about it. And when he came out of the game, I was like, good, because they need to give him a break in here. But I was kind of like, shit, I don't even know if you need to bring him back in, man. And I know he was impacting the game in other ways, but looked like he was really favoring that ankle there for a while. When he needed to turn it on, he turned it on. Of course, he rolls his foot on that idiot who, is like, I got one hand in his jersey. I got another hand, wrapped around his rib cage. I've crossed my leg between his legs. They're not going to call a damn foul for it. And then he, rolls over on the ankle, and he was not happy about it, but he went and made the free throws, big smiles at the end there. So good.
Mark my words. There will be an NCAA tournament game where Darius Acuff shoots 14 free throws. Because I think they're going to get the right officials in there for one game. It won't be every game, but it's like the way he plays, there's a lot of, they could call a foul on damn near every possession. I think he's going to get a crew in the NCAA tournament. He's just going to ride it.
I like that. I like that a lot. Needed too. It's Lanky. It says, shout out to Wags for peacocking a little bit at the end. Confidence. Yeah. And DJ had a big old smile on his face by the end of that game. I like what we saw out of him. It was nothing crazy. What do you have? He had 9 points, but he had 4 rebounds, which is good because he doesn't like to rebound very often in there.
Arkansas's guards, all of Arkansas's guards got big rebounds tonight, including Acuff.
Acuff.
5, I think.
Yeah, that's how I knew he wasn't like it wasn't crazy with the with the injury with the ankle or whatever, because he was getting in there and mixing it up on the boards and defensively. I think it was just kind of impacting his lift and his explosion until he needed to flip the switch. But yeah, DJ, what I like the most about it is he played 29 minutes in a game like this and he didn't turn the basketball over. And he's starting to get some more and more confidence in there. I think he understands, hey, I've figured out my role and I'm going to play a lot, with this group as it's constructed the rest of the way. I think he's only going to get better and better as we continue to push forward down the stretch here of the season, and they need him. So it's good to see. Let me just make sure it's not one of the next couple super chats here. No, it's not. Can we just take a moment to talk about Billy Richmond? Because we're 33 minutes into this, and we acknowledged how he kind of carried the team in the first half, but my God, 23 more points in this game. He was 8 of 13 from the field. He hit another 3. I thought he hit 2. I guess he had a foot on the line for.
Yeah, the ref immediately hit that little 2 motion.
Okay,
but yeah, another long range jumper, confident. He's a threat. I mean, he's not really a threat from 3. He does hit him every now and then, but like he is a threat all the time. Anytime he has the ball in his hands, all 5 guys better be ready to step in, come contest. Like he just is a ball of fire that has to strike fear. Like that has to be that's like the guy you don't want to play at pickup. That's just going balls to the wall. You're like, dude, relax. Like we gotta go to work tomorrow. Like, come on, relax.
I know.
Billy has to be that guy where it's like 8 p.m. on a Wednesday night. You kind of want to just coast. And it's like, shit, we're playing hard for 40 minutes. Really?
It was so funny to see Billy compared to everyone else out there at the beginning of the game. I texted you before we started. It turns out I was right, but I did not feel good about Arkansas's warm up. And I did not feel good about pregame. I thought it was casual. I didn't think they went very hard. There wasn't a lot of intensity there. I'm not sure anybody really broke a sweat. I don't think it was entirely different than what you normally see from them. And I also think some of it is they understand we've got 7 bullets in the gun because I guess they just don't want to play Sealy. We got to save them, man.
Yeah.
And so I text you before the game started, and I was like, I think Arkansas is going to get down early here, and Cal's going to have to call a timeout, and then they'll settle in. You can get away with that with some teams, but with the way A&M plays, it just feels like you need to maybe have a little bit more juices flowing before you start. I thought that's what it looked like with everybody out there except Billy, because it just doesn't matter for Billy Richmond. Like, he's going to go balls to the wall, ridiculous energy, and he kind of held everybody up until they decided, okay, we have now seen this and we're ready to play a basketball game. So good on Billy.
Yeah, Curtis, I keep thinking about that because by the way, I have the text to back it up. I can't pull it up because my phone charges at such a specific angle. It took me 3 minutes to plug it in and get it. I'm like, all right, it's charging. I don't want to touch it, but I was gonna pull up the text because I have you were definitely like, you even said they're gonna get down by like 7 or 8 and have to call a timeout. It ended up being the media timeout that saved them, but like spot on. I wonder, I saw a Kentucky fan tweeted a stat today, and it had the 2012 national title team. And they literally had a 6-man rotation, dog. Their seventh man averaged like 11.2 minutes per game or something like that.
Right.
And I wonder if Cal really is just like, hey, you guys are going to have to play this way. So like during these next 5 games, figure out the ebbs and flows, figure out how you have to conserve energy, figure out how you have to manage your adrenaline, because we're going to do this in March. Like, that's just how it's going to go down.
Yeah. I really think you're right. And I would love for them to get Sealy involved. Understand that. I am pro, even
assuming he's healthy. Maybe he just really like isn't that healthy.
And maybe that's what they're waiting on. He looked better in pregame today than he did the other day against Missouri. That right away when I was watching Warhams against Missouri, I was like, this dude ain't playing. In this one, I was like, oh, they might get him in there a little bit. But even still, at that first media timeout, the team was in the huddle. Cal's talking to him, whatever. Sealy was off to the side with Matt, the athletic trainer, and you could tell he was trying to stay loose and going through some stretches and some dynamic stuff with that hip. You can tell maybe it's still tight, maybe still bothering him a little bit. It would be nice to, listen, I do not expect them to use him at Florida unless they just absolutely have to because of fouls. But maybe it's something where you can work him in next week and take a little bit of mileage off these guys. I don't know, but I think you're right, man. I think you're right. That might be what we're looking at here. You're going to have to play this way. We know that's what it's going to be like in March. Figure it out. And they did in this game. I thought they might have been dead to rights there for a second from the, energy standpoint, but they found the second win. So good on them. Student section says, I feel really bad for him, but I called it. We got Tony Snell instead of Pringle. Did that happen to him?
Not quite. He did get a rebound, I think.
Pringle had 1 offensive rebound, 2 fouls, and a turnover. Yeah.
It was, Euan played 34 minutes. Pringle played 6.
Yeah.
That really is how it shook out.
Is it? Well, he will 100% still start Pringle against Florida, though.
Yeah, he will. You're not going to change that lineup coming off of a 15-point win, Curtis.
People are going to think I'm crazy. You need like 25 minutes out of Pringle against Florida.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have to play, like, you're going to have to do the Pringle and Euan play together thing at times. You might even do the 3 big thing at times there, because what are you going to do if they're playing Thomas Houck and Condon and Chinyalu? I get it. Like, Houck's going to have to guard Billy also, but you might have to do the 3 big thing a little bit in there. I don't know.
TB, by the way, because they definitely will need something out of Pringle, but like TB cannot come off the floor, genuinely.
Yeah.
And he has to be good for all 40 minutes, by the way.
Right. Mitch's Britches is begging John Calipari to bench Darius Acuff for the Florida game for the good of the program. We need him healthy in March. Hard for me to co-sign that when he did what he did in the second half. You know what I mean?
He can find little ways to like get some rest, and I mean, even tonight, he didn't play a super physically demanding style. Like, he's been a lot more aggressive, getting downhill, getting to the rim. He really only did it when he needed to in this game.
Mm-hmm.
I think you just have to get him as much, rest and recovery you can during the week. You get a week for the SEC tournament. I think that's what you gotta. That's the target date for when you can kind of refresh a little bit.
That's kind of where I'm at, and I did a pretty long segment about this on the Pod the Palace earlier in the week, and for me, you really needed to get this game, and now you're getting ready to go play the number one team in the league. This is a massive seed line opportunity for you. Keeps an SEC title within like reasonable reach for you. When you're playing for things like that, if he is hurt to the point where he can't go, sit him. You got to do what you got to do. He was able to turn it on and have a massive second half for Arkansas. He's not going to want to sit in this game. It's a tough balance to find. But if you get to the point where you've clinched a double bye, in Nashville, because I think that's really important, because we talk about rest and being ready for March and everything. You need to get to the point where you're not playing on Wednesday in the SEC tournament or Thursday. That's huge. That's the way to get the rest that you need going into March Madness, is clinch a double bye. You play on Saturday and then you don't play again until Friday. And if you have that secured by Saturday, and if you feel like, man, we just got to give Acuff that final game off, yeah, I would hear you for that one, because then he would have like 10 days before you play. And then we can have that conversation. As I understand what you're saying, but I don't think it's going to, and then what good is that going to do? If you set him for Florida, do you also set him for Texas next week? Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah. I think there's a whole lot to play for here, and they're probably just going to try to get everything they can out of him. But I would be more open to this for the last game of the regular season going into postseason.
Honestly, just the mental mind game of having your best guy sit. It just is a bad visual. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. As much as we've sat there and been like, oh man, it's crazy that Darren Peterson's doing this whole thing, we think that's a real thing. That like, it kind of just affects the vibe of the locker room, affects everything. And like, obviously no one can question his toughness, but I just wouldn't want to bring that, variable into the equation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's also the other thing you have to consider, because I understand what you're saying. If you just don't play Acuff at Florida, then you are asking every other guy to play 40 minutes against Florida. So then maybe you get him back for Texas, and then everybody else is dog ass, shot, tired, moving forward. You know what I mean? Like, because you got to consider everybody else also. This is not a great situation for Arkansas to be in, and it's John Calipari's fault for not recruiting a team. But there's nothing you can do about it. He chose to go, we got to have 8-9 guys. We can't afford anybody else. Well, these are the things that you have to manage at this point. Some guys are going to have to play at less than 100%. Some guys are going to have to play 40 every night. You're just going to have to figure it out, because it takes one injury for this to become a thing when you do this with your roster. And if he doesn't want to play Sealy at all, then it's even more magnified. And then if Pringle's only going to play 6 minutes because he's ineffective, then it's even more magnified. It's just the stuff that you run into with the way that you build your roster. So,
hey, but good to see Carter sitting on the bench. He was there.
Good to see Carter with the team. Yeah.
I mean, genuinely.
Yeah. Joffer says jail time for 0 for stepping on Acuff. Matter of fact, put him in Alcatraz and throw away the key. Jokes aside, good win, and Acuff still had 20. He's the GOAT.
That is facts.
Yeah. I could have done without that dude stepping on his foot there at the end. It was not cool, man. What are we doing? Tracerback says Keyshawn Murphy, Aiden Sherrill, Zach Clements. The list. You missed Mark Mitchell, who did it for Missouri.
Did it dirty on him
on Saturday. Yeah. We could continue, like we could roll the clock back even further about the big men who have dominated Arkansas. But the thing here is they've won 8 out of 10 during this stretch with that happening. I think that's what we have to keep in mind, because I know it's frustrating. Sometimes we see it. I've been frustrated by it. I am very irritated that, Zach Clements had 29 tonight. Arkansas won by 15. You know what I mean? Mark Mitchell went off on him and they beat Missouri. Keyshawn Murphy had, he was like Hercules out there, and you beat them by 13, and you're still winning game after game after game. Eventually, will that catch up to you? Yeah, probably, maybe Saturday, but they're still really good. But it's like, it's not at this point. I guess my question is, what the hell are they going to do about it?
No, dude, it's just something
You know what I'm saying?
you gotta bake into the equation. You go into the matchup just assuming that, you know, one of the big guys over there is gonna have a pretty good game. And so you just start, you know, thinking about how you're gonna have to score, and you're gonna have to outscore them, which Arkansas does.
Yes, yeah. The answer is you get 18 and 9 out of Malik Euan. Like he gives a little bit back, and that's the way they counteract that, because they're not all of a sudden gonna be great paint defenders. The only other thing you could do, one, I think Arkansas could do a way better job about just denying entry passes. They're I think very, very content with playing behind the post, letting them dump it in there, and then you have no resistance. So that's almost like an automatic bucket. I would like to see them get into more denial and just discourage those entry passes. The only other thing you can do is dig down and double. And they did a little bit of that tonight with AG. You just can't do that. Clements was like a walk-on at Kansas before he wound up there. You just can't double that guy. And he was doing some of his work from the perimeter, driving on you. You just got to be better. But if you start doubling down, then you run the risk of kick-out threes. And Arkansas has been a lot better in SEC play about defending the three-point line. I think they're just kind of content with, maybe we're giving up some twos in there, but we're not getting popped from three, because that's what was happening to them in non-conference play. Those mid-major teams were hitting them with like 12, 15 threes in a game, and you can't have that. In fact, because I'm looking at it right now, so here's where you're at. Arkansas's 2-point defense in SEC play is 14th in the league, but their 3-point defense is second. So you're really, really good at one area, really bad in the other. The other thing to consider is, even though you are getting scored on a lot in there, Arkansas is number 1 in the SEC in block percentage. So they are blocking a lot of shots. They're third in turnover percentage. Hell, they're doing pretty much everything else defensively really, really well besides defending the paint in there. So it's frustrating. I get it. But
and then, of course, also scoring 55 points in the paint literally every single game. You know what I mean? Like finding ways to match it to where, I mean, I think it's just, it equates to, you add it all up, it equates to good enough.
Yes. And by the way, we're not piling on you at all. You're right.
No.
I have been creating that list myself of like every team's, big man who just torches Arkansas, and it is very, very frustrating for sure. Preach says Billy is starting to remind me of D Wade play style.
Wow, I like that. D Wade.
Preach has gone Dwayne Wade. John Calipari went Dr. J the other day. So
yeah, how about that?
Billy Richmond's arc is it's crazy where this is headed here. But man, he's been awesome. 4 games in a row over 20 points. Just continues to find ways to get it done. He looked great. Donut Boy says, I mean, everybody's on this. Like Acuff's worst game of his life, and he still puts up.
There's no way he will play worse than that.
No, there's absolutely not. And the truth of the matter is, and I'm not taking anything away from these guys as players, but tell me I'm wrong. If Michael Brown put up that exact stat line, or Kingston Flemings put up that exact stat line with the 3 steals, people would be going nuts. This is why he's a top 5 pick. Should he be in the conversation with Darren Peterson and Cam Boozer? They'd be glazing that dude like crazy.
You'd be getting a highlight package on Twitter where it'd be like all-around game from Michael Brown.
Exactly. But we're going to have some idiots on, draft Twitter pulling up the missed shots that Acuff had in the first half and making a montage and being like, see, this is why you can't take him.
You want to know why I know I have the right people in my life, Curtis?
Why is that?
2 separate friends of mine, they're just separate friends of mine, texted me today to let me know that Bill Simmons had very positive things to say about Darius Acuff. And was just like, dude, he's my favorite college guy to watch. And just because they know I'm a big Bill Simmons guy, but that's how I know I got the right people in my life, that multiple people alerted me to the Bill Simmons Acuff segment.
I need to find that and listen to it myself.
I'm going to clip it out and send it to you literally after the show, because I did the same thing earlier where I went immediately after I was alerted. I went and found it.
Love that. That's good stuff. Filthy Tom says, is Billy Goat the best forced nickname of all time? Love how Leak gets a steal 60% of the time right after he misses. One, Yes, I think it is. There's nothing worse than a forced nickname, but it's just aged so well that I think you might be right. And two, this is a great observation about Leak, because I do feel like a majority of the time he takes a shot, because I take notes throughout the game of like certain things where I'm like, I definitely want to bring that up on the report card. Didn't like that. When Leak does something, shot selection wise, where I'm like, what the hell was this? I almost always feel like I wind up deleting it because he makes a defensive play right after that. So you are definitely onto something there. Dude,
him and Billy, it astounds me how many times they get steals where they are not even just like full on. The ball is, but like they're like fully on position to catch the ball. Like the pass was intended for them. They had about 3 or 4 of those tonight, and A&M was sloppy as hell. I couldn't believe some of the passes they were trying. I'm like, do y'all not know Malik Thomas is playing that passing lane? Like that dude, that's cookies. Like all day long, he's going to make that steal 10 times out of 10.
Absolutely. We're going to get back into your chats. I do want to give one more shout out to a sponsor, and it looks like we got some clips uploading. So we'll play, we'll get a couple of those in from John Calipari and see what he has going on. But we got to talk to you about Blue Ember for a few reasons. One, it's really, really good barbecue. And if you haven't checked it out, you really need to. You guys hear us talk about them all the time. We do it because they're awesome and they're our partners, and it's really, really good. They've got the 6 locations throughout the state: Fort Smith, Jonesboro, Texarkana, Little Rock, Hot Springs, and Rogers. They will cater for you: weddings, parties, meetings, whatever you have going on. You see the numbers there on your screen. You can call them the individual locations for pricing. Scan the QR code, go to their website, www.blueembersmokehouse.com. Rumor has it, because we go out there every first Wednesday of the month to their Rogers location, it's going to be me and Andrew. Me and Andrew against the world. We'll see if intern Cameron can come out there. Maybe we'll get intern Gigi out there. We might give him some mic time. But we are running this show, and I really do think, and God, I hope it works out, it's almost like a full circle thing, because this entire relationship that has blossomed with Blue Ember started with us going down there and it not working out.
I forgot I keep forgetting that happened.
Dude, it's only right that the last one of the basketball season, we're back there. Our first live stream of basketball didn't work out. The last one is going to from Blue Ember. I'm excited to get down there and hang out with them.
This season has been defined by Blue Ember. In 9 years, Curtis, we'll be doing our thing. We'll still be crushing it. I'm going to be like, you remember that 2026 trip to Indianapolis? And you're going to be able to smell Blue Ember barbecue before we can even talk about the Final Four games.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. Okay, let's get into some John Calipari. His opening, statements are always really good. I don't know how long it is, but I do want to check this one out, and we can stop and react to it as we please.
To have only 9 turnovers in a game that's played the way that game was played, it's kind of amazing. To take what they gave us and then pull out when you haven't played a game like that against a team like that was pretty impressive. How we played down the stretch, what Darius did, what the other guys did, playing through him, pretty amazing. DJ Wagner, woo, and he will only get better.
Woo.
I just needed to stop it for that.
Was that a Ric Flair woo?
It was a half-hearted one, but I like that a lot. I will clip out that 3 seconds. That's probably going to go on the board, the soundboard. DJ Wagner, woo.
Billy, Richmond, woo.
Yes.
Malik Thomas, the biggest play of the game in my mind was that rebound he grabbed with 2 hands, because they were making a little run. And he went and got that ball. And then we ended up scoring. Huge play. And then he comes down the stretch and he makes shots. Somebody just told me Darius was 1 for 12 in the first half. Probably should have subbed him out and sat him. But I gave him a break. But look, I'm just watching guys, and I just want confident guys, that you're confident. When you shoot it, you're shooting it confidently. And he does. But nothing phases him. I'm a little disappointed, and I'm not trying to put more on the kid. Why isn't he in the equation in the player of the year in the country?
Oh, yeah.
What are you saying? Why would you say he's averaging as many as all those people? He's got 6 assists. He got 3 rebounds. He's doing things in the guts of games. Yeah, maybe they are, but he is too. So why isn't he being mentioned? He's playing when he could probably take some time off, games, and he's playing anyway. I mean, he goes through the shoot-around and only does half of it so he has enough to play the game. Like, should he play down in Florida? Probably not. But I'll tell you right now, if I said you're not playing down there, he'd bust out laughing. You're out.
Let's go.
That's beautiful stuff right there. Tell it to
So
a nerd.
I'm a little disappointed in that, but happy for TB. How about Malik Euan? We need to get Nick doing a little bit more, and he will. He's a great kid. But DJ's big. You know, being able to go to him and we get better. Big.
All right. Love that stuff right there from Acuff. Champion your boy. Hey, SEC Player of the Year, it's sewed up. You know, that's a wrap. It's on lock. Let me start stumping for the National Player of the Year. Are people watching? Are you guys paying attention to this? That was really good. Love what he said there about Acuff, and because he's right. I think we all see it at this point. He in the chat earlier, yeah, he could probably use a break here, a little bit of rest. We were hearing some things behind the scenes that might have been incoming last weekend for the Missouri game. But it turns out he's out there, and Cal's right. Like, you're going to tell this dude to set out against Florida on the road? Ain't no way that he's going to do that. Now, when would you force it on him? If you've accomplished the things that you need to accomplish. Otherwise, it wouldn't surprise me if they just try to grind it out here with him, and then you get him, 6 days or something before the SEC tournament, and then, you go play in March. But he's a warrior, man. He's a competitor. He's tough. Was not 100%, and then wound up doing what he did there at the end of the game. So good on him, and good on Cal for those words there. That was good stuff.
Now, I know this is going to be dangerous because we all agree we would rather Arkansas go on a deep run in March rather than Darius Acuff win or postseason awards or regular season awards. But I do think this is something that should be factored in. Not Cal stumping for him, but just the fact that, hey, this dude showed up day in, day out, games he'd play full every single minute of. So many times when you have so many people openly, even in the Arkansas fan base, that are asking him to sit out games, and he's like, nah, I'm going to play, and even if I don't have my shots falling, I'm still going to end up with 22, 7, and 6. It's like, it's just a different level, and there's just nobody in the SEC that's anywhere close to this level right now at this very moment.
Yes, no, that's it's 100% true.
His biggest competition had 5 points and fouled out tonight, by the way.
Oh, Houck, yeah, I saw that.
And he's a great player, but like, there's nobody whose team is being carried as much as Darius Acuff's Razorback team is being carried by him.
LeBaron Philon didn't play.
Did not play tonight.
He had to sit after that war.
And Bama hit 57 threes. Did not affect him one bit whatsoever.
Bama also in better position to do that because they play like 15 guys. So that helps. I mean, they bring Latrell Wrightsell off the bench.
You think you're a player's coach? Cal didn't even recruit a roster just so Darius Acuff could win SEC player.
Yeah, that's right.
You're not a player's coach until you do that.
That's right. Jamel Jones says new name Dollar Bill Richmond. Billy's getting he's really working his way into not being here, isn't he?
Oh yeah, he's gonna be a rich
or
man.
he's working his way into I could come back and win SEC Player of the Year for you next year, but it's going to cost you.
Listen, that's the fascinating thing about college basketball. That's when you win, is when you have players who are pretty much pro players, and it's hard to have guys because if they prove they're very good as a pro, they get drafted. And so if you're their freshman or whoever, Billy's one of those examples. He became a pro like 3 weeks ago, and he's just been, and now you're going to get this little stretch. It's really hard to find that sweet spot.
Yes, it is. Still got a good handful of chats to get into here. I just want to ask you real quick. I don't know how much you've been paying attention to the live chat as we're rolling through the supers and everything here. Has our buddy Luke shown himself?
Yes, he has, and he's got a star chat in there. It'll be
okay. Good. Man, good game, boys. Y'all and the refs got it done.
Hey, I've already prepped for this, Curtis.
Okay.
I've decided in a move of solidarity, because we love Luke and we want him to stick around.
We do.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take it into my own hands. I am removing all of Arkansas's free throw advantage. I'm going to make A&M and Arkansas's free throw advantage the same. So they each made 16 free throws. I'm taking all those points for Arkansas off the board. Final score, Arkansas 86, A&M 84.
Oh yeah, and
Fair
then
enough.
and then he would have bought those tickets to Indianapolis already.
Oh,
with
yeah.
the,
If they had
with
lost
the
by
almost
2,
banner, the moral victory.
nothing gets Luke going more than a 3-point loss on the road to a solid SEC team.
Luke, we appreciate you, man. And I will say this, and I mean this sincerely. I'm not just, some people hate that. I hate when people do that to Arkansas, where they beat the Hogs, and then it's like, hey, you guys have a good team, though.
You're a little broing him right now? Is
I'm
that
a
what
little
you're doing?
broing him right now. You guys are good, man. It's a tournament team over there that Bucky has in year one. Enjoy being in that 10-7 game. Maybe you'll be better from that experience next year.
Okay, learn from this kid.
There,
That
little
was
guy.
crazy,
If I could
Curtis.
pat you on the head, I would. Anyway, Bo Subtle says
Wow.
Euan with a better pass than Taylon had.
Why are
all
we giving
season.
Taylon Green strays? Come on, man. He's suffered enough. Let the guy live.
The strays in here. This is hilarious. This is what happens at 11:30 at night on a Wednesday.
Hey, I'm pulling up at Taylon Green's pro day. I'll just tell you right now.
Yeah, of course. Washburn Idol. Appreciate the super chats. Big time. Says, love these guys. Only one more game in Bud with Acuff, Leak, and Billy. Maybe Billy. Let's say this. For sure, Acuff, probably Leak, maybe Billy. Makes me want to cry. It does. That's a sad thing. And that's another thing to consider, because we keep having this conversation with Darius, right? After the Alabama game, hey, you probably need to set out. No, coach, we just lost. I'm not setting out this next game, right? And then he plays tonight, and it's you probably should. Maybe you shouldn't play at Florida. Maybe you should rest and get healed up. You kidding me? It's the number one team in the conference. We're trying to win this league. I'm playing, and then it'll be after Florida. Hey man, like we got
Final
through this
home
war. Exactly, final home game, and then it'll be that's the last game of the regular season, man. It's the SEC tournament.
Yeah.
It's just the way that he is. I really do think the best way for Arkansas to handle this, be strategic with his minutes if you can, to a degree, maybe get him out a little bit more, but just clinch what you need to clinch, and don't have to play basketball in Nashville until Friday of the SEC tournament. And I would love for them to go win the whole damn thing over there. If you lose early,
Know when it's not your night. If the shots aren't falling, it's fine.
Yeah, it's all right. It's not the end of the world if that plays out. Blues chasing blues says, man, what is it about A&M that it still seems to take 4 hours, 28 minutes, and 30 seconds to play a game? Yeah, that was another long one. Well, there were still 56 free throws shot in this basketball game. That's what it was. And then they had the clock thing that was going on with like 6 and some change left, and that took a bunch of time. You're right.
Clock was upside down for a second there.
It said Aloha or something on it. It wound up being a long basketball game. I guess that's just the way it's going to be. Buzz Williams or not, that's what happens. Sharkensaw says, with like 10 minutes or so left in the game, Leak and Acuff had a combined 7 points, and the Hogs were up 6. Billy's breakout has been huge, and DJ is finding his role. Boogie and Lee are about to get cooked. Arkansas is going to have an advantage in the backcourt. I would love for them to have a 100% Darius Acuff, and that's not going to happen. But yeah, they can go in there. They can go in there and make this very uncomfortable. Do you think Florida is like taking a big deep breath right now, like a sigh of relief, like, whew, all right, well, we just got done with Texas. Now we got Arkansas at home. We're good. They're not crazy about this. They know that they're due to take an L here. If there's any team in this conference that they don't want to see, who else would it be besides Arkansas?
Yeah, I think it'll be about Friday night is probably when it's going to set in for the Florida team. They'll have looked at like some of the clips. They'll have been cutting down the film, and they're going to realize what kind of game they're in, and they're going to realize, yeah, this is going to suck.
Yeah, this is not going to be fun. Nobody's
They'll
looking
talk
forward to
themselves up, and I bet by the time the game tips off Saturday, they might have even talked themselves into like, we can win this one. But I don't think – I think they're running into a buzzsaw. I'm being 100% dead serious right now, Curtis. I think Arkansas is going in there and beating these dudes. Today is the day I made that decision. I did not feel that way 24 hours ago.
I respect
not even close.
I am not there yet, but I bet I'm there by Saturday. I will talk myself into this for sure. It's a tall task, of course it is, but the folks who are thinking that they're playing like, I don't know, like one of those peak UConn teams or something, Florida is just, they're not that. They're not that. Let's not get carried away. Jade Sports Fan says the whistle Acuff is getting right now is awful. It's better than it was, though. And that's sad because, I mean, the first 3 possessions of the game, he was just getting hooked and held, and he had his jersey pulled out. His jersey was tucked, and a guy pulled it out, no call. I'm just like, good Lord, it's going to be one of those games. I remember seeing was it Alabama or Florida? I think it was an Alabama fan that just popped up in my algorithm who was going nuts leading up to their game against Texas A&M about these dudes foul like 50 times a game with the way that they play, and it doesn't get called because it's like their style. And his entire point was A&M's not good enough. They're not established enough to be able to get away with that. You know, like if Duke is doing it or Kansas or somebody like that, that's one thing. Texas A&M basketball shouldn't be getting away with this. They really didn't get away with it tonight. I mean, Arkansas shot 33 free throws, but they are a very handsy bunch for sure. Rufus is here.
Heck yeah.
He says he arrives a lamb, he'll depart a billy goat.
Love that.
That's really good.
Man, I was thinking about this the other day, thinking about Rufus and all the Cal teams that he's gotten to witness over the years, and just all the different developmental stories that Rufus has stored in that brain of his, of just watching these young men turn into men of character and grow up and, become guys that'll make hundreds of millions of dollars. I mean, he has to have, probably dudes that we've like forgotten about. We know the names of a lot of them, but it's like,
Yeah, no, I think you're right there.
Even the Derek Willises of the world. You remember Derek Willis, that big ugly white kid who used to shoot threes for them? Like, even guys like that, because at Kentucky, he had a few, like, 3 or 4 year guys that would just stick around for the hell of it.
Who was the dude who's like damn near a decade removed that is trying to come back and play college basketball? That was a Cal guy. They just wrote the story about him. Khalil Whitney.
Oh,
you remember him?
He's
27 years old. He's trying to come back and play college ball. I saw Kentucky fans talking about that, but they weren't like, "Oh God, let's get him back. Go Big Blue forever." They're like, "Oh, I don't know, man." So, real quick, a non-super chat. We appreciate this from Austin. He says, "As a Kentucky fan, I really hope you guys get to the Final Four this year. Love y'all's post-game shows over ours. Thank you. We do appreciate that." He says, "I'm a Cal fan. Wish he was still our coach. He looks refreshed at Arkansas." Cal looks more refreshed than his basketball team does right now.
Yeah, that sentence was almost too good to read. Like, I can't believe it might even be an Arkansas fan trolling. It was so nice and I appreciated it.
Yes, yeah, me too. Walla Walla Hog says death, taxes, and Acuff. Yeah, he's consistent. I almost feel like I need to like really grade him harshly in the report card. Because I haven't been able to do that all year. You know what I mean? It's like every game. It's like, hey, he did it again.
Give him a C+, Curtis.
I think that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to give him a C+.
Guy.
He's like,
you can't take stupid pull-up jumpers in the first half and expect me not to grade you harshly.
Yeah, what's wrong?
No one's above the law. The other students are looking. They're like, you better scold them.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. Washburn Idol, thank you again. Says, also, I said Leak would go for 30. Didn't realize it would be both leagues combined. Yeah, I mean, you weren't specific there, so we'll give you credit for that. I kind of thought Leak was going to be in line for a big game because
me too. He's
the guy who could really improvise against his style. It just turns out he was trying to do that, and it got weird on him in the first half. Good in the second half, though, so I feel okay about it. Here's what I'll do. He is now due to go have a really good game on the road at Florida. So there you go.
Malik Thomas has a lot of games where you're like, oh, he's due. He just has that feel. And it's accurate, though. It's crazy.
It is, man. God, some of the shots he took today, I was like, my guy, what are we doing?
I almost now I'm getting excited when he misses a shot where I'm like, oh, yeah, he's making the next one.
Derek says, how many offensive rebounds for Euan and TB combined? Great stuff. I will tell you, 11 combined offensive rebounds for them. Malik Euan had 7 offensive boards in this game. And Trevin Brazil, good on him. He never
does that.
No, he never does that. Yeah, and he had 4 in this game. It was one of the things that I noted in the game day preview was like, how is he going to find a way to take advantage of his matchup? Because he's probably for a lot of the game going to be defending a guard or whatever. It turns out that it was when he got matched up against Clements that he started getting cooked again. But he had to go up against this team that is undersized and struggles on the boards and be better as an offensive rebounder. And he did that in this game. Like a couple of the tip ins and putbacks he got were huge, man. His ability to, when the guards were struggling to get open, serve as that release valve and just be able to inbound the ball and him not turn it over. What did he have? 1 turnover in this game, and he had to handle it in the backcourt a lot. Trevin did some really good things in there. I'm irritated by some of the stuff, defensively, defending the paint and everything like that. But overall, I thought he really did some good things for Arkansas. I know Ryan will disagree, but I thought he was big for him. Listen, Jade Sports fan says Curtis who will guard Houck. So Thomas Houck, such a mismatch problem. I don't have a good answer to that question.
I think he's going to, I mean, we can always kind of pencil in one guy to pop off. I don't think it's going to be Condon. Chinaloo will probably be able to kind of just bully his way to some buckets.
Chinaloo's probably going to have like 16 and 14 type of game.
That sounds about right. But I think
Houck
Howell probably has 20.
I mean, Billy is going to start on him. It's just, it's the way it's going to be. Billy's your wing. They start Houck at the 3, and they'll probably try to take him in the post. You're going to have to bring some help, whatever. I'm anxious to see, and Houck's a good defender, but Billy, with his aggressive nature, can you just drive into his chest, man, and maybe get a couple, a foul or 2 on him early? That's going to be really, really important. The more that he plays the 3, the more difficult it's going to be on Arkansas. But they really don't. They start that way, but they don't do it, for like the entire game. There's going to be times out there where they'll have Boogie and Xavier Lee and Clabshar playing together with a 3-guard look. Houck plays quite a bit at the 4, and then it makes a little bit more sense. Not that I think Trevin's going to even do a better job than Billy will on him. But it's a mismatch problem that Arkansas is going to have to figure out. I think the way they figure it out might be making it a mismatch on the other end. Billy Richmond is not a guy that Houck's probably going to be really excited about having to defend. So he's got to get him in foul trouble.
By the way, real quick, our guy Arkansas, he was at that game tonight, Florida UT, doing a little scouting, and said that Houck was horrible, which did a good job. Texas did a good job switching off onto him every time they never left him. Yeah, so maybe they laid the blueprint there. But we got eyes.
Yeah,
in attendance.
Texas also has Swain, who's like built in a lab for Thomas.
What's he 6'8", 6'9"?
Yeah.
Arkansas doesn't really have a guy like him on the roster. I mean, Carter would be the closest thing to him.
Carter would be so valuable in a game like this, man.
If Carter could play Saturday, I mean, I know he like literally can't.
Right.
But like Carter, seriously, this would be a game. As much as we're going to be asking a lot out of the big men, Carter, you could just say, hey, just be dirty tonight.
Yeah.
Just elbow this dude in the belly 9 times.
And they're not going to want to do it. And I'm not saying he's a world beater defender or whatever, but from a size, athleticism standpoint, I really wouldn't hate seeing Sealy get a few minutes here and there in a game like this. And he looked pretty good defensively. And I know it's LSU and Mississippi State, but being able to have a little bit of extra length and athleticism on the wing in there and not putting all that on Billy would be helpful. We'll see what it looks like. It's going to be a tough one. Washburn Idol says, I choose to believe DJ made it a point to foul out number 7 there at the end. I could see that. He had a big smile on his face, so probably felt good to get that dude out of the game. I wish they would have done it a lot earlier. Good grief. God, 11 of 14 that dude was. What the heck are we doing? Filthy Tom. I think it's great for the freshmen to kind of stumble and the older guys to bail them out. Great to have that in a winning effort. I agree. I would prefer Acuff and Leak just be awesome every minute of every game, but for them to really labor the way they did in the first half, and you just, go up 9 at halftime anyway, and other guys step up there. I think that shows you a lot, because now, I look at that and I say, okay, Texas A&M, they're going to make the NCAA tournament. I think they're probably going to be a 9 or a 10 seed, but hey, they're going to get in there. So you just played a tournament team, and your two best players, your two biggest offensive guys stunk in the first half, and you were able to control that game because other guys stepped up. So if you get in the tournament and, the freshmen get lemon booty or something in there and they're struggling, they're not making shots, then I feel a little bit more confident now about Arkansas being able to weather that storm. So good on them.
Absolutely. I also think mentally for Acuff, he's always going to be a guy that holds himself obviously to a high standard, but I think mentally it's a little bit different when you're kind of feeling like, oh, I've got to be ready to go Saturday, because if I'm not, like that's just a little bit different mental load. And I think kind of frees those guys up, especially someone like Malik Thomas. We know how dangerous he can be, to kind of know, hey, if you miss some shots, like, who cares? Like, we're going to be all right. Go out there and take them.
Yeah, for sure. Derek, appreciate you gifting an Inside Arkansas membership. Billy Richmond Enjoyer, this is an underrated name right here. He says, saw neighbors in the bathroom again. And
it's uncanny, isn't it?
It's crazy how this happens, man.
I saw a lot of people saw John tonight.
Yeah. And he shared with us I'm just going to call it out. Whoever the A&M fan was, that was at the game or saw John on the screen or something and took a picture and tweeted out and said that Buckyball was going to ruin his date. Well, that didn't happen.
Did not happen.
Actually, but it's weird behavior.
It's a really, you got to be a specific type of human being to take a picture of someone inside a building and then tweet them that picture and be like, hey man, I see you and you don't know who I am. Like, that's a very creepy thing to do. Like, I don't know how else to word it. Like, that's you have to be a weird person to do that.
Yes.
And I hope that doesn't offend people, because I'm sure some people in this chat have done it, but that is a very creepy, weird thing to do. So stop.
Well, at least sometimes Razorback fans do that, and it's it's good natured, or they're excited or whatever. It's like, oh, hey, there's John Neighbors, It's like, oh, you could have just tweeted at me or sent me a message or something. But fine. But yeah, for the random A&M fan to be like, your date's gonna get ruined, jackass. It's like,
Curtis, did you ever have? One of my buddies, the dad of one of my buddies growing up, he was just one of those guys where he kisses people, cheek, forehead, whatever he can get his lips on. He just overly kisses people. And I remember telling Hillary before we went over to their house, I was like, hey, this man's gonna kiss you, and just it's cool, it's fine. It's creepy, but it's lighthearted. That's like the Arkansas fan version, where they're taking a picture of you and it's like, no, they love you. I'm taking this to show you I love you, but it's like, thank you, Yeah.
No, I get you. And I don't know that he spends more time in the bathroom than the average man, but he has more interactions in bathrooms than average.
Dude,
men.
Those bathrooms are packed pregame. I'm talking about elbow to elbow in those bathrooms.
They are. And I would say probably one in every 3 times I'm in there, I'll be washing my hands. Somebody be like, oh, Curtis Wilkerson, it's like, hey, how's it going? Or whatever, drying the hands or whatever. It's like, hey man, like your show. That's cool.
Yeah.
But John, he's got stories that come out of there. So, Mrs. Dan's van, good to see you in here. Yeah. Says, did y'all hear Jimmy Dykes say when asked who is the dark horse favorite for the Natty, said Arkansas? I did not hear Jimmy Dykes say that. I only listened to the last 6 minutes or so of the game. I was there for a majority, and then I came home to get ready for this. But no, that's cool. And if Arkansas is healthy, at 100%, and knock on wood, they stay away from any other injuries or whatever, they are very live to make a deep run in this tournament. National title. It depends on matchups, but I do think that this is a team that it could break Arkansas's Final Four drought. Hopefully you don't run into a dominant big man or whatever. But if you've got Darius Acuff on your team, then you are capable of doing something cool when you get into the NCAA tournament. And we'll do the qualifier that we've done all season of. This is also a team that could lose in the first round, and not all teams have been like that. The Eric Musselman teams were not teams, even though they had some scares in there, that you looked at and go, ooh, they're vulnerable.
Yeah.
For
At least when they were
here.
4 seeds, those teams that were 3 and 4 seeds,
right?
I did not think they were losing in the first round, not at all.
Arkansas could, if they're a 5 seed or whatever, they could draw Yale or South Florida or one of those teams, and we're going to be like, oh, here we go, man. That's going to be nerve-wracking. That's something that could happen with this team. I want everybody to understand that. But once they get past that, I'm telling you, anybody that Arkansas faces, I'm going to feel good about their chances if they've got Acuff, man. He's that good. He's a special, special player. Oh, yeah, here we go. Peyton says, to bring it full circle, I will be at Blue Ember on Wednesday. Well, wear your Sunday best because we're going to put you on camera. So
yeah.
I know you already you had your Sunday Scaries debut, but we're gonna get you on and let you fire off the hot takes. So
yeah, that'll be fun, man. Looking forward to seeing you, man.
I would say that me and Andrew, we need to be able to take a little bit of a break, but here we are, an hour and 20 minutes into this post game and it's midnight on a Wednesday, and we're still rolling right along.
Easy work.
I think we're almost down to the end of this, by the way, but this is awesome, man. We appreciate everybody hanging out. Really good win for Arkansas, man. We said that, but I hope everybody's enjoying this season. And I hope that, for the folks who are out there, and we love giving you trouble, but if you're frustrated by some of the things tonight, another post player going off, some of the the shooting struggles at times, how's Acuff feeling? I hope everybody's not it's not lost on you how good this team is, though. It's been a lot of fun, man. We've usually this time of year, we just feel like we're fighting for our lives. Every game, it's like the bubble, you got to win this. What did this team do? What does the net look like? And this team is not doing that. They're fighting for a protected seed. They're still fighting for, the SEC title. It's a long shot, but you're still in that mix. 21 wins. You got 11 in the league. These guys are really good, man, and they're fun to watch. It's a top 5 offense in the country, and it has been all year. We haven't been treated to that in a long, long time. So I'm really enjoying this basketball team. I've kind of fallen in love with them here, and they frustrated me for a while with the inconsistencies and stuff. But since they've come out of that bye, in the month of February, Andrew, these dudes have been just so fun to watch, and they're showing some resolve. They're a little bit more gritty than they have been. They've had to grind some of these games out. This is a fun group to cover and to watch.
Well, and I love that we have a very specific moment that you can point back to. Unfortunately, it is the Kentucky game for the second straight year, because last year's team, that was the moment where things kind of fell into place for them. For this Arkansas team, that Kentucky loss was kind of them. That was their final exorcism of the demons of being this weird, inconsistent team, because they really have come out of that after that. I don't know if it was the week-long break or just the getting embarrassed at home, but they came out of that a better, more mature, more consistent team. And so, yeah, I definitely like this version of them. I think every fan's biggest fear is that you don't live up to your potential, that you have a team that doesn't quite win as much as they were supposed to. And I think that's why fans, not to bring up Arkansas baseball, but that's why there's so much frustration with Arkansas baseball, is because fans have this huge, deep-seated fear of not getting the most out of the team that you can. And so I think there's a lot of people that live every single game where they're like, crap, is on a deep run? Is this basketball team going to go on a deep run? And I think no matter what, you're probably going to feel a little bit unsatisfied, but I just want people to realize you might not get an 18-ounce ribeye, but you might get a 10-ounce, New York strip or something like that. It's still going to be a full, solid meal. Enjoy that meal and don't be like, oh, man, they could have been better, especially if they go to the freaking Final Four.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure.
You don't want to be the guy who didn't enjoy any moment of a Final Four run.
No.
You know what I mean?
I'm with you.
We're able to have some fun.
And I'm trying to, I am actively trying to be better about that too, because I've had very high expectations for this team, and I've been frustrated. And I made the conscious decision, and it's helped because they played a lot more consistently. But I tried to stop saying the thing about this team is just, they're too inconsistent. They're too inconsistent at the point where you look up and it's like, okay, you say that, but here we are at this point in the year, and they've been ranked all year, and they've been in the top, 2 or 3 of the SEC all year, and they've won 8 out of 10 games now and everything like that. Like, there are moments that irritate you, but they're not a perfect team. They do have their flaws, but they've been pretty damn good a vast majority of the season. I do want to play one more clip
Yeah.
And then we got just a couple more super chats and we'll get out of here. But I do just want to say, usually what is said in the private chat stays in the private chat, but I'm going to out John because it made me laugh. But producer John is working hard tonight, and he put in our private chat, I piss and get out as quickly as I can. I don't know what else to do.
That's like a John Neighbors out of context.
That's exactly right. Oh man, that's pretty good stuff.
By the way, how come nobody, I don't know if maybe I'm breaking a rule by saying this. Why has nobody made an Inside Arkansas out of context account?
I don't know. Because there was the Outside Arkansas thing for a minute.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that. There's a John Neighbors little burner out there. I saw a Wordus Kilkerson.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of
there
burner,
now.
but these are just people that are like, getting one off. We need somebody who's like running a Twitter account that is just like taking crazy crap, because we have these weird little like sentences that we'll say that without the context really don't make any sense. But I think there's some gold there. If someone wants to just spend hours working on this every day,
I think so too. The final clip here. So the two that we were told were pretty good was John Calipari just on Malik Euan, or him talking about the offensive rebounds from TB and Malik. Which one do you choose? It's like a coin flip here. Are we just going to go solo Euan, or do we want to hear about both of those dudes?
Let's go. I want to go Euan just for a second.
Okay, I like that. Here we go.
But the dunk, you know what he do? He do some kind of reverse. He just went up and dunked it. So what would you say to him? If you can do that, why not do that all the time? Just go up and dunk it. And the same with what he did rebounding the ball. He's getting more confident. I want him to shoot some jumpers. He can shoot. I'm not letting him shoot lefties anymore, because when he shoots righties, he goes and rebounds his miss. When he shoots lefty, he never rebounds. He shoots it, but he goes righty, he'll go get it and bang and then go and score. But, I'm happy for him. This has been rough. If you remember last year with John Nelly, it was rough for a while. And then he kicked it in, and by the end of the year, he was what we all thought he would be. Let's hope that's the same for Malik Euan, because he has made unbelievable strides in all areas, in everything he's doing. So I want him to be rewarded with what he did today.
Okay. So
no more lefties.
No more lefties. Yeah.
Didn't rebound the lefties for whatever reason.
I'd never noticed. That's why he's the Hall of Famer, man. That's an interesting observation. I like that. We do like the position thing. So we've always been like, well, remember Jonas, and we know he was hurt, but he stunk, and then he got really good, and Arkansas got better. Interesting, the comp there with Nelly Davis. I hope so too. He stacked a couple games in a row here. Florida's going to be a really, really big test for him. And it's weird with Euan because he kind of, on the surface with some of his, faults, like the motor and everything like that, you think, all right, well, this is going to be a game where he kind of withers away. But he stepped up in these moments. Like he was taking it to JT Toppin. I remember at that Texas Tech game, he was the best player that Arkansas had against Houston in that front court. He was really good against Tennessee, as physical as they are. So in those games, those matchups against these, imposing front courts, you're like, he's cooked in there. More often than not, he's actually had really good games for Arkansas.
Curtis, I have you want to talk about weird comps from past players. This is not necessarily a comp of play style, because these guys are very different skill sets, but, a similar kind of position. The way that first Muss Elite Eight team utilized Justin Smith, where they just kind of figured out, oh, wait, we can get Justin Smith like 15 points a game on 65% shooting. Now, they were throwing him lobs. They were doing a few different things, and he's more of like a 4, and Justin Smith's a better defender. Not the same kind of player, but they were able to kind of figure out, oh, wait a minute, this is how we can use Justin Smith, and it's just going to make everyone's job easier. When he's doing what he does, everyone is just going to be better on the floor. Justin Smith kind of propelled that Arkansas team to an Elite Eight. I think Malik Euan's having a kind of similar effect, and Jonas did it a little bit last year, but I think he is a guy that just the gravity of when he's playing well near the rim, it just changes the equation for Arkansas, a team that's already pretty good inside the arc.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. I like that. And man, he's so skilled offensively. He really is. And there is another level that this can go to, because right now he's getting offensive rebounds, putting them back, throwing down lob dunks. You know, he had a couple moments in there, but he is a guy that you can, like, you need a bucket, you can throw it in there to him on the block and let him go to work. And we haven't even really seen him let that bag talk the way that he can. Let that dude face up, you know, from 10 feet and attack somebody. That's how he can get a dude like Chinyelu into some foul trouble in there. So hopefully he kind of continues to progress, you know.
When you said Chinyalu's name, now I just realized that we've done this whole Malik Euan bit, and he's going to get absolutely stuffed in a locker on Saturday.
Oh, he's going to get pushed around. Like he's going to get pushed around.
We're going to get old takes exposed immediately on this. God dang it.
He's like a bigger Shibwe. Chinyelu is like he's enormous, man. The way he's been rebounding and stuff, but he's really not that big of a scorer. But
you remember Patrick Young from Florida back in the day?
Yeah,
he's a little bit like Patrick Young, where you're just like, man, I hope this doesn't turn into an arm wrestling contest.
Chinyelu, where's he at? He's 4th in the country in offensive rebounding percentage and 3rd in the country in defensive rebounding percentage.
Good God, man.
So there's that. Goodness gracious, man. That's crazy. I'm just looking at Florida right now. They are number 2 in the country in offensive rebounding percentage. Although, who was number 1? Tennessee. Yeah, and Arkansas did pretty good against them on the boards. So, I don't know. Auburn is top 10 in the country in that, and they didn't crush Arkansas on the offensive glass. I don't know. I'm going to talk myself in Arkansas win this game. Anyway,
these dudes, bro. Florida ain't scoring 90. Come on.
If you guys want to be convinced that Arkansas is going to win this basketball game, tune into the Pod of the Palace the next couple days, because I'm going to do that for you. Unbiased Brim, good to see you, man, says Fox Sports has Darius Acuff number 3 in the Player of the Year convo. Quote tweeted it, and the official Hog Hoops page posted it right after. I like that. That's good to see. I was listening today or yesterday to the CBS podcast, the Eye on College Basketball podcast, and Norlander has Darius Acuff 4th on his National Player of the Year ballot. And Gary Parrish had him 6th. So people are starting to take notice of what he's got going on here.
Is Boozer the unanimous number 1, or is he the favorite?
Boozer, number 1 in most of those. I've seen Boozer, DeBanza, because he's really started to take off.
Although, dude, they got their ass whipped the other day.
They did, yes. Toppin has been on a lot of those, but now he's hurt. Yaxel at Michigan, like best player on one of the best teams.
Yaxel's numbers, are they that crazy, though? I know he's obviously playing good. He's playing very good. But, like, I feel like Michigan kind of has spaced their scoring out. I feel like Yaxel's probably not going to have the numbers.
I don't think so either. It's not crazy. 14.2 points, 7.3 rebounds, which isn't crazy. 3.3 assists per game,
which is a solid mark there. I mean, the fact.
But then he's got 1.5 blocks, 1.5 steals a game. So he's kind of doing a little bit of everything type of dude.
Yeah. See, I feel like Acuff should be ahead of a lot of these guys just because the sheer numbers. I mean, he's going to average more points than probably all of them.
Yeah. Yeah. He's legit in that conversation. So it cracks me up when
if Arkansas beats Florida, that's when it really ramps up, where it's like,
absolutely. Like I've seen people have debates about whether or not he'll make an All-American team. It's like, why wouldn't he? To me, at worst, he's second team All-American. Like if they wanted to give, you mentioned Purdue's Braden Smith or whatever. It's like, oh, well, if he's going to be your first team point guard, it's like a legacy thing. I know he's averaging more assists and stuff, and like Fears at Michigan State's putting up really good numbers and everything, but Acuff is scoring like 10 points a game more than those guys. Yeah. And then he's leading the SEC in assists. He doesn't turn it over. I don't know. I think he should be in there, but is this Witty?
That is Witty.
Yeah. Okay. He says,
You can tell it's witty because he's making fun of Ty.
never
Broden.
mind. Yeah, I should have read it first. So I seen Broden in the crowd on TV. He dropped his popcorn, of course. So
I want to know, was Broden actually on TV? Because if Broden's at the game, like, respect.
If Broden was at the game and Witty noticed Broden, I think that's saying a lot.
Yeah.
You know, there were a lot of
real thing.
There were a lot of football players at the game.
Okay.
I saw roaming around. Hogs supporting hogs. You know what I mean? Which, by the way, shout out to baseball for getting the big win today.
Gutsy win. Gutsy.
You want to talk about gritty, grinding one out? It's exactly what we had there.
Got to break the record for most pissed off a fan base has been following a near no-hitter.
Yeah.
You can't even enjoy the pitching performance because it's like, that's not what we're talking about here.
I think at least twice during the game, I had formed the message to send you and John in our group about when is it acceptable for me to be that guy and start bitching about the offense. But they were so good on the mound that I was like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. But gosh,
the reason why you can't be that guy, Curtis, is because everybody has the exact same thought process. Yep. And so everyone is doing it. If everyone is saying, when are we going to talk about the offense? When are we going to talk? It's like, we've been talking about it. Like it's been going on. Somebody today was like, Andrew, you should do an episode of your show talking about it. And I'm like, I did. It was yesterday. I literally ran through all the numbers and that's what happened. And like, after this weekend, I'll do the same thing. Like it's crazy, but yeah, we are full. I mean, even Dave was like, it ain't going well. I don't know what to tell you, man.
Yeah, man. You know what's going to be tough? I'm very grateful that they won this game because Thursdays I got a weekly radio segment in Jonesboro.
Oh,
and I'm still kind of dreading it.
Yeah, because they certainly didn't even the scales today.
No,
it's a 1-1, but it's not a real 1-1.
Yeah, and the host is really good, and they bring me on to talk Razorbacks, obviously, and so they'll ask about Acuff and the A&M game and everything. But he always makes sure to get a baseball something in there, and I know he's going to bring it up, and I'm going to deflect. I'm like, oh, hey, A-State they might wind up being an NCAA tournament team coming out of that league, and. Yeah, Arkansas has got to figure some things out, but then I'm going to quickly be like, "Hey, man, shout out to my my McCrory Jaguar, man. Hey, Casey, he looked good over there." But I'm not looking forward to that conversation. Yeah. I've got a lot of family over there who they always text me after my segment. It's like, "Man, we know you're talking Razorbacks, but why? Yeah, you know about the Red Bulls, man." And now I've got to be like, "Yeah, good job."
Fortunately, I do know about the Red Bulls.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not going to bore everyone with the baseball detail, but I will say. Arkansas tried. They needed to win this game, and Dave had to treat it. I mean, Parker Coyle threw 3 innings. Steele Lee threw 3 innings. They had a veteran with the flu starting. Like they forced Arkansas to dig deep. Man, I did not appreciate that.
I know. Oh, that's what I do need to play that card. Right? Is it the flu bug or is it strep?
Yeah, they definitely had the flu. Cam Kojal got sent home today.
Yeah,
because of the flu.
That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, hey man, Arkansas had to really grind through this. They're down with the sickness, man.
Had influenza going on. I mean, what were we supposed to do?
Yeah, I mean, what do you expect? Bo says we got some serious questions at the wing next year in a good way. Must-style roster incoming. It is interesting that we're doing the thing right now, and obviously injuries factor into this. We're like, they're either 3 guards or they're overloaded bigs, but they don't have much going on behind Billy on the wing. And next year we're going to be like, start 5 of them if you want.
Yeah,
so
5, 7, 6, 7 guys. It's all good. I mean, hey, Cal's such a big 6'7" guy that the entire roster is going to be 6'7" next year.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, we're going to have plenty of that, man.
Ronnie Brewer did the roster construction apparently.
Yeah. Yeah. Blues chasing blues says seeing Cal on the bench the past few games. He really looks happy to be here this year. He's settled in.
He's one of us.
He's one of us. He gets it. The crowds have been awesome, man. And it was a great crowd tonight. The SEC crowds have been really, really solid. Team's playing well, comfortable in his own skin. They're not 0-5, so people don't hate him. Like he's got a lot of things to be happy about. I will say he's been coaching, and he was in some ears tonight. As much as he praised Malik Euan, he was on that dude for every one of those lefty shots, or if he got scored on or whatever, he was laying into him. he was yelling at DJ a lot. And it was pretty funny because I could see DJ from press row and he was doing like the, my bad coach, my bad coach. One time he did that and Cal got really like sarcastic about it. He was like, it's basically like, don't tell me you're bad. Like, just don't do it again.
I love it.
Cracking me up, man. So he's getting after those dudes for sure. Fort Smith Razorback had a follow. It said our bats need to wake the F up.
Yeah,
you are correct.
This is accurate for sure. And
Yes.
And they will to an extent, but yeah, no, it's I mean, listen, I'm not gonna do my bombastic podcast on here. I will save it for tomorrow, but they definitely do. They need to respond. They're gonna play a pretty mediocre opponent this weekend. You have to really flex some muscle just a little bit.
Mm-hmm. You definitely do. We had one. Michelle sent it to me. She said that Ozzy was trying to figure out the super chat, but asked how the hell did Auburn go and beat Florida on the road? That's a great question.
Auburn does that, dude.
That is on my list of I want to go watch that game here over the course of the next couple of days to see if there's some sort of blueprint. Because like I'm looking at the stats right now, and they really scored on them. I mean, they shot 54% in the paint against a Florida team that's pretty good in there. Florida was 7 of 27 from 3. That's going to be a big part of it. Like that's kind of their Achilles heel.
27. I feel great about that.
You want them chucking threes and missing threes. You know what I mean? And they've been doing that a majority of the year. They've been better lately. That's part of it. They only had 9 turnovers. Auburn did, and limiting your turnovers against them is going to be really important. How many offensive rebounds? I mean, Florida had 17 offensive rebounds and lost that game.
Yeah,
so
that's crazy. You'd think that threes would be harder to offensively rebound. So yeah, I mean, that's a formula that frankly Arkansas could kind of emulate a little bit.
And if you're wondering about, somebody said, well, how are they going to match up with Thomas Houck? He had 27 in that game and they lost. So he could go off, and he probably will, and they are beatable. A worse team than Arkansas did it in that gym. So
Curtis, you got to get me off of here before I start talking reckless.
Well, we are done. So
I'm about to start being very. Listen, we were joking earlier today about how, Reagan likes to get the predictions. She likes to get those.
Yeah.
Sometimes even before the game has been played. I will be sending my prediction very soon, and it is going to be in favor of the Hog.
I like that. I like that a lot. Is that your final thought? Hogs beat
No.
Gators?
I actually wrote down my final thought because I wanted to make sure I wouldn't forget it.
Okay.
And I wrote this down like 4 hours ago before the game, I think.
All right.
Shout out to Jaylen Williams, former Razorback, former Fort Smith Razorback. Shout out to the Fort Smith Razorback fan.
Mm-hmm.
Jaylen Williams, I believe this is a career high for him. He had 30 points tonight, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, 9 of 14 from the floor, 5 of 10 from 3, 7 of 7 from the free throw line. They had a bunch of guys out, and so, guys had to step up. But career day for Jaylen Williams. What a stud, and what a win for the Arkansas Razorbacks. It's going to be hard to kill my vibes, even with Arkansas baseball sucking. I'm on track for another Woo Pig week, man. No one can bring me down.
That is a beautiful thing. Shout out to Jay Will. Yeah, man. I had not seen that, so I'm glad you ended with that. That's really, really good stuff. And yes, very, very good win for Arkansas tonight. Needed that one, went and got it. They continue to do their job, and I'm anxious to see what this looks like tomorrow. It's exciting stuff when Arkansas is winning, and you can look forward to a showdown like we're going to get on Saturday. College game day is going to be in Florida. It's a big time matchup. I hope that they're ready to go over there and play really well under the spotlight. And I think that they're going to be, but we're going to enjoy this one right now. So kudos to the Razorbacks for going and getting the job done and grinding out another victory. 21 wins on the season, man. 11 in SEC play. You got to love it. We're going to get out of here for now. Thank you to everybody for hanging out with us tonight. Big crowd. That's awesome. It's after midnight. A lot of people have to work tomorrow, including us. Actually, I still have more work to do tonight, so I got to get out of here. But for Andrew Ellis and intern Gigi and intern Cameron and producer John, Curtis Wilkerson, thank you guys as always for being here with us. Enjoy the rest of your night, however little there may be of it left, and we will see you guys tomorrow on Inside Arkansas Live. Make sure you check out the report card. Have a good night. Get some sleep.